wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of NBC's 10 Count. I'm Steve Fall, but on today's episode, I am talking to WWE Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I am doing great. It's sunny. It's beautiful. I'm talking to Kurt Angle. How could the day be any worse than the world is sometimes, right? You can't complain. But you might be able to complain because you recently just had double knee replacement surgery. How are you doing, and what made you suddenly get this surgery?
Well, my knees were shot. I had to have something done. And I had it planned that I was going to have one knee done and then wait about 6 months and have the other knee done. But they were both so bad, the doctor said, let's just get them out of the way. And I'm glad I did it because now I'm starting to come out of it a little bit. It's been about a month. And I was regretting having the surgeries up until now, but now I'm glad I did.
So what was it like walking around with knees that need to be replaced? Was it you were in constant pain?
Yeah, it's very painful. When you get your knees replaced, you literally, you can't walk at least for about a week. And, although I was walking the next day, I'm not going to lie to you. So, everybody's different. Everybody's different. And, you just have to go at your own pace. And the doctor told me the more active I was, the quicker that I would heal up. So I've been trying to be pretty active so far.
Well, anytime anyone thinks of Kurt Angle, they always think of how you just are so resilient. So obviously you were someone who's like, hey, don't walk the next day. And you're like, okay, I'm fine. And then there you are being Kurt Angle.
I do jump ahead a little bit, but the doctor actually encouraged me to do it.
Okay.
He said, you're a world-class athlete, man. Just go at your own pace, but don't do anything too crazy.
Of course. And now, speaking of crazy, there are things when I'm doing research on you, you always discover new things. I didn't know you were a double Triple Crown winner in TNA and the WWE, which is, I think, mind-boggling. I think you're the only person to ever pull this off. So congratulations on that. But what's the difference of working for TNA versus WWE? Because obviously there is a difference.
Well, you know what? WWE is a much bigger company. TNA, Impact Wrestling, is a much smaller company. The crowd size is a little different. WWE, they're going to fill a stadium. TNA, they'll get 3,000 to 5,000 fans at each event. They do pretty well, but TNA is just a smaller company. And but working for them, you didn't. There wasn't a lot of creative control over you. In other words, you could do more creative stuff that you want to do, and you could pitch it even more. So in TNA, we had less rules and more, pulling for ourselves to do whatever character we wanted to do.
Now, do you like the structure of being told what to do or being able to do what you want to do?
I like them both. I'm not going to lie to you. I loved having my writer in WWE, Brian Kawartz. He was incredible. He came up with so many entertaining segments for myself to do. I really enjoyed it. And but I think that I prefer the WWE being told what to do because everything was written out for me. And the crazy thing is, my writer had such great chemistry with my character that it always worked. And so I also didn't mind doing my own creative stuff in TNA, but WWE, it just felt better.
What's the difference between working with Dixie Carter versus working with Vince McMahon?
Well, you're talking the difference between a woman and a man.
Well, that's true
Dixie
too.
has that motherly love. She nurtures you. Vince McMahon's just a badass. He's going to tell you like it is. So it's a lot different. Very, very opposite. Polar, yes.
Yeah, I can imagine one being good job, champ, versus what are you doing out there?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about your outside projects because there's something that everyone loves in the world, and that's being healthy, but not trying to go work out all the time. You have a wonderful snack, physicallyfit.com, a protein snack company. Let's talk about that for a little bit because everyone wants to be healthier. So let's talk about that company. What do you have to say?
Well, you know what? We have a product called Snack Smart Crispy Protein Bites. It's organic plant protein. We also have one called Chicken Snacks Crispy Protein Bites. They're really good. this product is incredible. We've had nothing but 4 and 5-star reviews. The company's doing really well with these. You know, there are 11 different flavors. You can get them at physicallyfit.com. It's really healthy, high protein, low carbohydrate, low fat, very good for you, but the taste is phenomenal.
Oh man, yeah. I'm a snacker. I'm guilty. I'm a snacker.
You should snack on these instead of potato chips and pretzels.
100%. After going on the website, I was like, yep, this definitely needs to be purchased by me versus sitting in the car, driving to work, mowing down on chips and then feeling like crap later. So yeah, I think everyone wants to be healthy in this world, especially the past couple of years. Everyone's been in their house mowing down on food and gaining weight.
Without a doubt, during the pandemic, yes.
Yeah. So hopefully everyone goes to physicallyfit.com right now and purchases some of these delicious snacks, because I certainly am going to, because it's come on, let's stay healthy. Moving on though, because there's something I've always wanted to ask you, and I feel like it happens a lot, and I'm not sure, because you're Kurt Angle, no one goes up to you and maybe says this to you. Do you feel like you're given enough credit and appreciation when it comes to the work you did? Because when you see highlight videos for the WWE, it's always, you know, The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Triple H. But for some strange reason, it seems like you're never in those video packages, but like you're part of everyone's childhood and memory. So do you feel like you get enough credit?
No, I don't, but there's a reason for that. You know, I left the company high and dry in 2006 and didn't come back for 11 years. And, you know, that when you leave the company like that, and you know, they wanted me to stay, it was you know, you're going to pay the price eventually. So, you know, I was in TNA longer than I was in WWE, so I think that has a bearing on it as well. So I feel like even though I'm a WWE product, it's where I started, it's where I ended. I think the WWE looks at me as a TNA product. And I think that's the reason why.
Wow. I'm a little shocked because, you know, you're the first ever Olympic gold medalist in the WWE. You were world champion like within a year of being there, IC champion, European champion. You've done so much. I'm surprised that they wouldn't be like bringing you out everywhere they go. Like, look, Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle.
Yeah, you know what? In my first 2 world titles, I beat The Rock and I beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. So those are 2 formidable names. And it is surprising that I'm not in a lot of the highlight reels, but you know, like I told you, there's nothing I can do about it.
Of course. Eventually, though, you did come back to the WWE, and you were even inducted into the Hall of Fame. But your last match was against Baron Corbin at the time, and I have nothing against him. But did you feel like you've earned a bigger spot on WrestleMania?
Yeah, I did. You know, I'm not going to lie to you, but Baron Corbin was a great opponent. I didn't mind having him as my last opponent. The issue was I wanted John Cena because I started his career and I wanted him to end my career. And but the problem was I was doing a program with Baron at the time, and Vince McMahon, when I mentioned to if I could wrestle John Cena at WrestleMania, he said, "Kurt, you're doing a program already with Baron Corbin. You have to finish that program. If you want, I'll give you Cena the following year." And I said, "Vince, I can't go another year. You know, I'm done. I have to retire this year. My body just isn't going to make it another year." And he said, "Well, you're going to have to go with Baron Corbin." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. I appreciate it. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, it just was never going to happen. And it has a lot to do with me not being able to wrestle for another year."
Mm. So did you push hard, or did anyone advocate for you saying like this, John Cena versus Kurt Angle is clearly a better marquee match? And nothing against Corbin. I love Corbin, but Kurt Angle should end his career on the highest note possible against someone like John Cena. So was there pushback to this idea besides the Vince McMahon you have a storyline you have to finish?
You know what? Not a lot of people said anything. It was my idea. I came up with it and I presented it to Vince, and it got shot down. That was it. So there wasn't anybody else that was, you know, involved in this decision. It was just Vince and I.
Again, I'm very surprised. I would have had you be like, I would have been building this event around the last match of Kurt Angle, but that's me. I don't run a Fortune 500 company on Wall Street. So
you're absolutely right.
There's a reason why Vince is where he is in life. So,
Yes, he is.
you know, his decisions are his decisions. Though the WWE has never brought in so many Olympic style wrestlers. Like recently, Gable Steveson, they brought him in, but he hasn't really been on TV. So why do you think that he hasn't transitioned onto TV much since being part of the Olympics?
Well, he's a great talent. He's he's very talented, and I think the reason is his size. You know, he's probably 170 pounds. You know, 5'8". I think that bears a little bit on the reason why he's not being pushed as much as he should be. But I think he's an amazing talent. I think the WWE can do a lot with him. He's very technical. He has a lot of charisma. He's a very talented kid, and I think he would do extremely well if the company pushed him.
Yeah, I think even maybe bringing back Kurt Angle to be a manager for him would be great.
It's not out of the question. I wanted to manage Jason Jordan and Chad Gable back in the day, and it never occurred. But it was brought up in meetings, but it just never happened.
I'm glad you brought that up because I recently did an interview with Charlie Haas, and we talked about Team Angle, and when I love Team Angle, but Charlie Haas had a suggestion. I asked him, why did Team Angle break up? And this is his theory, and maybe you have some thoughts on this, that on Raw, we had Evolution with Triple H and Orton, Batista, Ric Flair. On SmackDown, we had Team Angle, you, Shelton Benjamin, and Charlie Haas. Charlie Haas suggests that it was a jealousy thing, and SmackDown was doing better in the ratings, and these are his words, and he's suggesting that somebody use politics to break up Team Angle to allow Evolution to stay dominant as the biggest faction in the WWE. Is there any truth to that?
I don't know. I don't know where Charlie heard that or if he just thought of it himself. The reason why we did break up is I kept hurting my neck. I kept injuring my neck, and we were pretty hot at this Team Angle. And what the company wanted to do at that particular time is we were heels at the time, Team Angle. And when I went out with injury again, when I broke my neck again, I came back, and Vince wanted me to turn babyface. So he wanted me to be a good guy. And Team Angle were heels, so we had to split up. And I ended up wrestling Charlie and Sheldon to end the feud or to end the whole Team Angle situation. And then I continued on as a babyface, and I didn't stay babyface very long. No. So it was a shame that they did that. I'm not sure why they did. I think it's because Vince felt that the fans had sympathy for me because it was the third time I broke my neck. And, you know, they thought, you know, let's just push him as a babyface and keep Team Angle as heels. So I think that's the reason why we broke up.
Okay. Because Charlie is convinced that it's
because
the politics of jealousy.
What they want to believe, you know, they're gonna believe what they want to believe. Yes,
that's why I was like, I need to ask Kurt Angle this question because he was the leader, and you know, you were the face of the brand at the time on SmackDown. So I just wanted to make sure that.
Well, you know what? Whether Charlie was right or not, I'm not sure about Evolution and all that. You know, they were a pretty hot item. And so were we. So, I mean, you know, is it possible? Maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah, because I've heard stories in the past, not with just you in general. People, when The Rock started doing that, the people's eyebrow, people would be like, "Oh, what are you doing? That's stupid." And like, The Rock would later say they said that to make him feel like he shouldn't do it because they were really jealous of him. So I think Charlie and maybe some people are believing that there's jealousy between Evolution and Team Angle. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know.
I don't think so. But okay, that's me.
I just want to make sure. I want to clarify. I was bringing up Gable Steveson earlier, though, but because I think for you, you transitioned from being an Olympic wrestler to a WWE superstar. It seemed easy, but that was on TV. What was the difficult part of transitioning from one field to another?
Well, you know, as an amateur wrestling, you go by instinct. You don't think about what you're doing. You go by reaction. And WWE, when you wrestle as a pro wrestler, you have to think about what you're doing the whole time. You have to understand psychology, what the good guy's supposed to do, what the bad guy's supposed to do. You have to have a lot of charisma. You know, you have to show fear, anger, resentment. In amateur wrestling, you show no emotion. You don't want your opponent to think you're nervous or scared. So there are big differences, and the move set is different. In pro wrestling, you have to learn how to bump properly, which in amateur wrestling, you don't want to bump ever. You never want to get thrown on your back. So there were a lot of things that I had to let go, and I had to forget everything I ever learned before and learn this new trait. And I did it very quickly because that's what I did. I forgot my history, my past, and I opened my mind up to what I was doing in the present and the future.
Wow. So that transition though, because now we have the performance center where they have all these state-of-the-art facilities, and I have seen videos of you in warehouses.
Yeah, we didn't have much back then. And the crazy thing is, we only had camp for 5 days a month. And, I went to, I think, 3 camps, and I felt like I was just spinning my wheels because I wasn't training the rest of the month. And thank God the WWE sent me down to Memphis, at Memphis Pro Wrestling, so I could, master my craft and get a little bit better, especially with the speaking role, getting on the microphone and doing my thing. I wasn't very good at that, and I didn't know if I was good at it or not. I never had to do it before. So it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, there's a few Kurt Angle moments that people never really bring up. One of them is my favorite, is you're talking about like pretty much safe sex, and you have a lollipop and you hand it to a woman and say, suck on this instead. And it's like in my brain, I don't know why. There's so many Kurt Angle moments, but that one just jumps out to me. And so do you have a favorite Kurt Angle moment that people really don't ever bring up to you?
Well, no, it is the things that everybody brings up to me that they're the reason why they're the favorite moments. It's the milk truck incident where I drove the milk truck in the arena and Dallas Stone Cold Steve Austin, the alliance with milk. Doing the cowboy hat segments with Stone Cold Steve Austin, singing Sexy Kurt, battle raps with John Cena. I had a lot of fun, and the writers were incredible. They came up with all the material, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah, those are hilarious moments. I think people will never, ever forget. But you do have a podcast, The Kurt Angle Show, and you talk about so many different things, from winning, King of the Ring to main event of WrestleManias. But has there been a subject that when you were told you're going to discuss it, it made you feel a little nervous about, going long form, talking about something that you were kind of holding back a little bit?
Well, probably my departure in WWE. I don't really talk about it much. Every once in a while I did, but Vince and I had a falling out, and I spoke about it a couple of times, but I don't really like to talk about it because him and I have a great relationship now. Back then, at that point in time, we didn't have that great of a relationship. So, that's in the past. So I'm just looking ahead in the future.
Of course. And was there a subject that you were like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this?
When I can't wait to talk about?
Yeah. Was there a subject on your podcast you've already discussed that you were like, I cannot wait to bring this up and talk about it long form?
Yeah, you know what? I just had a segment with King of the Ring when I made Hulk Hogan tap out. It's the only time in his WWE career he tapped out. And I didn't know about this until about a month ago. And I didn't realize that Hulk Hogan never tapped out before, but that's a huge deal. And I definitely wanted to talk about that. And I did. It was last week.
That's amazing. Yeah, you gotta think of Hulk Hogan in his entire career. I know Bret Hart always wanted to make Hogan tap out, but no, it's Kurt Angle.
He's the biggest superstar of all time.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal for me. Yeah.
I agree. And now so you bring up Hulk Hogan. Does Kurt Angle have his own Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers? Because everyone brings up Kurt Angle as being, you, Bryan Danielson are always on like the best wrestlers list. Then you add 2 more because it always as an opinion. So who, in your opinion, is the greatest wrestler besides you of all time?
Oh man, that it's so tough to pick a Mount Rushmore. It's really difficult. If you give me 10 people I could pick, that would be easier. Yeah. But if I had to say the Mount Rushmore, first of all, for the first time in my life, I'm going to include myself. Good. Never did that before. Daniel Bryan is definitely up there. Stone Cold Steve Austin, what an underrated wrestler, because his character was so strong. He was the ass kicker, the beer drinker, but he could back it up in the ring. He was really good. And also Undertaker. What an incredible athlete for his size. I had so many great matches with him. I really enjoyed working with him as well.
There's a match, I think it was Survivor Series 2000. You fought Undertaker when you were the world champion. And I think Undertaker is wearing Godfather's pants in this match. And people have been posting this picture recently. They're like, what is Undertaker wearing?
Were they the snake pants?
Yeah, those are the snake pants. Yeah. Are those Godfather's pants or are those his pants?
I don't know, man. He might have borrowed them from the Godfather. I have no idea. They were snakeskin pants, though. Yeah.
Yes. I remember that as a child watching him. I'm like, what? What?
Well, that's a true Texan for you. Okay. He's from Texas. He's going to take rattlesnakes, kill them, and put them on his pants.
David, no kidding. And tell him to rest in peace as well. Recently on Impact Wrestling, they had a Slammiversary, 20 years of Impact Wrestling. And I got to say, and I think you would agree too, your greatest rivalry in Impact, maybe of all time, with AJ Styles.
Yeah. AJ and I, the reason why it's not my favorite is because not a lot of eyeballs got to see it. Don't get me wrong, TNA had their fan base, but it wasn't nearly as big as WWE's. But I still was really proud of my career in TNA, and I thought I had a better career there than in WWE, especially wrestling AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, Stinger, Bobby Roode. There are a lot of great talents there. Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, a lot of good talent that I was able to wrestle, and I was very excited about wrestling.
Yeah, they're amazing matches. I used to live in Florida, so I would have to wait outside in the 6-8 hours to get inside the Impact Zone to go see these events. So
Universal Studios,
yeah. I remember being like, "Can you just hold my line so I can go to the bathroom?" Those are tough times to sit outside in the Florida sun for so long, but I did for you, Kurt. I did for you.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that.
But at Slammiversary recently, Josh Alexander, their current world champion, he had tights designed after your gear that you had at one point. Now, how inspiring is that to hear that other wrestlers that are coming up now are all inspired by your past work?
That makes me feel good. I was inspired by wrestlers in the past too, especially Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, watching tape of those guys all the time and trying to portray them and be just like them. I also had guys that I looked up to. So I really am grateful that I have a lot of young talent that look up to me like that. It really makes me feel good.
So your style of wrestling, was that inspired by Bret Hart and other people? Because you obviously had a certain style. First off, in the beginning, you were very strategic, and then eventually you just intense. I remind me of Ken Shamrock. So who was there a certain wrestler or style that inspired you?
You know what? Kenny Shamrock. Yeah, definitely. We used the ankle lock, both of us. I tried to match his intensity. I tried to match Bret Hart's technicalities, how technical he was in the ring. And Shawn Michaels, I tried to portray his charisma and how good of an athlete he was. Those three guys are the guys I really looked up to that I wanted to be very much alike.
So Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 21, is that your greatest WWE match?
Yes, either that or Chris Benoit 2003 Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship.
I was there.
That match was just amazing. It was a work of art from beginning to end. It was one of those matches that I didn't realize how good it was until it was over. And I was like, holy crap, this was really, really good. It was one of my best matches ever, but Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 21 is also up there.
Yeah. Every time you wrestled Chris Benoit, I know people have a perspective of him now, obviously, that is different, but every time you wrestled him, we were guaranteed. It didn't matter if people complain now, like, oh, Brock versus Roman's happening again. Blah. If you saw Kurt and Chris Benoit on the card, it didn't matter. No one's like, oh, I already saw this. I was like, oh my God, I get to see it again.
Yeah, nobody ever got tired of it. I think you're right.
No. And currently, though, do you think that the WWE is having a problem with creating superstars? Because for a while, it was just chumming them out. But now it seems someone disappears and then we have no one else to lean on besides Brock and Roman and a few other superstars, obviously.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with the other promotions starting to get some momentum behind them. AEW, WWE lost a lot of talent to them, and so they're looking at their NXT guys. They're going to start making those guys pretty soon. I think that they do have a habit of going back to the older guys like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. He needs to wrestle some new talent, some NXT guys, upcoming talent that are very talented that can match his skill. And I have nothing against Brock Lesnar coming back and wrestling Roman Reigns again, but it's already been done, and you don't want to keep doing that over and over again. You have to make new talent.
Yeah, and the WWE fans love it. Like, I have no complaints about seeing Roman versus Brock again, because again, they have never had a bad match.
No.
But yet, if you're trying to create, I guess, new fans, you need to create new combos. And you brought it up, bring up some NXT guys, take on Roman Reigns. Braun Breaker is a person who I think is a perfect example of, you're ready to go to Raw and SmackDown now, but he's still in NXT. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. But Braun Breaker is a very talented wrestler. Yes.
Oh my God, yes, he's got the future written all over him, it seems.
Without a doubt, you're right.
We'll have to see. You brought up AEW though. In 2019, and then later on, have they ever reached out to you and said, hey, you want to be part of the backstage role or a manager?
Well, you know what? They actually wanted me to wrestle in particular. Tony Khan gave me a call, wanted me to wrestle. They offered me a pretty good deal, but I just can't do it anymore. I wish I could, but it's just not possible. They did offer me 2 different times, and they did want me to do on-camera personality as well, or non-wrestling role. I actually turned that down as well. I just wanted to start up my supplement company. I wanted to put more time into that. So I didn't want to leave the company at this particular time. So I decided not to do it.
So obviously you're very aware of what's going on in wrestling, because you have a podcast, you talk about wrestling, you're a wrestler. Sting, when he came to AEW, everyone was like, what? And then you see wrestling, you're like, oh my God, this guy can still go. So
he's timeless. The guy doesn't matter how old he gets, he still can go. It's amazing how Sting has been able to go this long. I mean, he's had to be in the wrestling business 40 years.
Right. And like when he got injured in the WWE, everyone was so sad, like, oh, it's over, it's over, it's over. And then finally, when you come out of the WWE world, it feels like suddenly it's like, okay, wait, I can go have one match. So like with AEW, did they want you to have a full-time schedule or have some big special matches?
They wanted me to have big special matches. They wanted me to have, they gave me a contract for 10 matches. They didn't say how long it would be. So it might not have just been for a year. It might have been for 3 years, and I would have wrestled 3 matches a year. But I decided not to do it because of my supplement company and the fact that I'm not the same as I used to be. If I'm going to go in there and wrestle, I want to be the old Kurt Angle, and I know I can't be that anymore.
Okay. A couple more questions though, but I could see that being, so is that a problem for you mentally, where you feel like someone looks at you and thinks you're the same version you were in say 2000 versus now it's 2022? Obviously age is all of our enemy. So did you feel like someone trying to offer you a contract for a version you used to be?
Well, yeah, I did think that, and you know what, I don't want to perform if I can't perform at my best, and I don't want to put together a match that is less than average. Yeah. And that's what I felt like I was doing at that particular time, especially my retirement match. I didn't think it was very good. I could tell that I was slower. I gained a lot of weight. I was more methodical. It just felt like it wasn't the retirement that I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, you're Kurt Angle, so you're always going to be good. So, obviously in your own brain, you have a perception of how you want things to be. And then fans, we see you in a whole different light, and we think you're always going to be great no matter what you do. So that's me. Though I have 2 more questions. One, a friend of mine, Sean, wanted to know, would you ever consider being part of a college in being a coach and teaching people how to wrestle?
You know what? I would have if my knees didn't get all messed up. But am I counting that out? No, I might eventually do it. I do love amateur wrestling. It's my first love. It's what got me into the WWE and TNA. And I do want to set an impression in that category of sport where, I was one of the greatest of all time. And I'd love to be able to cast down my technique and what I do know about amateur wrestling to younger wrestlers. So I'm not counting that out. I could possibly be a coach. If it will happen, it will happen in the next 5 years.
All right. Yeah, colleges, Kurt Angle is offering his knowledge to you.
Jobs.
Hello. Yeah. What's his LinkedIn right now? Hello, everybody. This is Kurt Angle, and he's Olympic gold medalist, former world champion, Triple Crown winner. He's done many things in this world. One final question to you, Kurt Angle. What are your goals for the year? Because you've done so much in your entire life. This year, what are your goals?
My goals are to make my supplement company a huge success. We're off to a good start. I want to keep busting out episodes of my podcast. I'm keeping my body in shape. I've been taking acting lessons. Hopefully I'll start doing some more movies down the road. Obviously this knee surgery got me, set me back for a little while, but eventually, hopefully I'll be able to do some acting and be in some movies.
Well, I hope we see you in more movies. You know, Fast and Furious. There's a million of them. They have to find a spot.
Furious 25.
Yeah, starring in space, starring Kurt Angle. Why is that not a thing?
That should be, yes.
I suplexing the crap out of Vin Diesel. I think we could. I think I could buy a ticket to see that. I think I could see it happening, but. We'll
I did a movie with him once. It was one of his movies. I was only in it for about 15 seconds. I was a bodyguard, and I can't remember what movie. I met him, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, I know The Rock." And I said, "I know you know The Rock. You did movies with him." And he was a really cool guy. I really got along with him really well.
So Vin Diesel talked to you after he filmed the movie with The Rock, though?
No, well, we were doing a movie together. Vin
yes.
Diesel and I.
Yes.
Yeah, but The Rock and him did a movie a few years prior. I think it was Fast and Furious, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know which one is this. There's so many.
6 or 5, I don't know.
Yeah, I know Vin Diesel and The Rock don't see eye to eye anymore in the world, so that's why I was
like,
wait.
That's what I heard.
I was like, wait, when did you talk to him? Because they don't like
each other.
They
were still getting along. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay. So you'll just take over The Rock's role because apparently he's not going to be in those anymore. So Kurt Angle, Fast and Furious, wrestling coach, Olympic gold medalist. The man has knowledge left and right. But Kurt Angle, thank you so much for being here on NBC's 10 Count. Truly was an honor, a privilege. This is a dream come true for me and a lot of fans to hear your voice every time you do a podcast as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Folks, the show is over. Thanks for watching another episode of NBC's 10 Count. I've been Steve Fall. He's been Kurt Angle. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Bye.